Hi, I am Kajer on Wheels, and today we are going to review the Yamaha Tmax 560. This is 2022's Tmax. You might notice that the 560 is kind of hidden here. You don't really see it because Yamaha decided that's not really important. The CCs have increased slightly because of emissions, but it's a Tmax. And so let's get the elephant out of the room. The price for this particular Tmax, the Tmax, is 14,650 euros. Holy, that is a lot of money. Yes, it is. On the other hand, what does this offer? Everything. That's why the price is what it is, because this offers everything. The Tmax is a sports scooter. And unlike most sports scooter, this is a sports scooter. This actually does what it says on the tin. This bike, you will go ride with your friends on their R's and their super nakeds and whatever onto mountain roads, and they will not be able to run away from you. They'll reach the end of the ride, turn around and go, "What the hell are you riding? What is that?" And you'll answer, "This is a Tmax." And I am not kidding. This thing is seriously fast on the bends. Go watch my review of this. And this year's review on this bike was very tame. I was really calm doing that. If you go look at the review from last year's or the one before that, this bike is just insane on the twisties. It's top notch. And then you get off the twisties, go straight onto a really bad pavement road like we have cobblestones, and you're perfectly fine. Everything's comfortable. It's mind-bogglingly how good. How did they do this? How did they make a stiff suspension for sportiness that also works on really bad pavement really well? Well, the secret is this. This is not actually a scooter. Look at it carefully. The whole look of it is just slightly off. Notice this hump. This is really tall. The tank. There's a hump here. It's a really big tank. The seat begins a bit further back than your usual scooter. The dimensions are all slightly off. Why? Because the suspension, for example, is a motorcycle suspension. The suspension ends up here. It's not a scooter suspension, which is about yay big and only has this give. Okay? This is a proper motorcycle suspension. A proper good motorcycle suspension. The rear suspension is a monoshock. It's a normal, high-performance motorcycle rear suspension. The engine is here in the middle, not like your usual scooter where the engine is hanging off the rear wheel, which in this case would not actually be possible because it is a 560cc engine, so it would just be too big. And if by some engineering miracle they managed to stick it on there, it would just be too heavy and the bike would be undrivable. So the engine is over here. The fuel tank is not in any weird scooterish place like behind the dash or no. Like a motorcycle, it's over here. So everything needs to be shifted slightly. The end result is that this bike is kind of hard to get on the classical scooter way. It's not easy. The easier way is just go leg over like a normal motorcycle. So this behaves like a normal motorcycle, not like you would expect a scooter to behave, which is astonishing. And then you have all the creature comforts of a scooter. And deep breath here, because let's try and run all the features and I'm going to forget about half of them. Heated grips, heated seat, adjustable windscreen, cruise control, TFT dash, cell phone integration, intercom integration, LED headlamps, LED indicators and rear lights, center stands, keyless system. Did I forget anything? Oh, a little cubby hole, a USB charger. And I think that's it. Oh, well, that went well. Might have forgotten a couple of things. So they took what is an actual sports scooter, which by itself would justify the price, and it is basically the old Tmax or 2 generations ago Tmax. The most recent one has a few of these features, and then piled on the electronics. I forgot traction control and rider modes. And then they started piling on the electronics. Electrical adjustable windscreen was They took a while, but they finally made it, and it works really well. Like it quite a lot. The TFT dash looks absolutely stunning, and you can customize it. It is extremely easy to use. It's hard to do something in here, and you can integrate this very easily with your cell phone and your intercom, and you need to do both, because that way you can manage your calls directly on the dash. You don't need anything else. You don't touch your helmet, you don't touch your intercom, you don't do OK Google or Hey Siri. Apologies for activating your cell phones, but you don't need any of that. You just need to use the controls on the bike to manage your calls. The whole workflow, selecting your contact, starting a call, talking and ending the call, can be done all on the bike. Everything. You can also control your music on the bike. It's including the volume. Yes, including the volume from the intercom. It's absolutely brilliant and super easy to use and set up. It's ridiculous. Go check out my review. I made a hash of it because I did not read the manual, but if you follow the steps on the manual, everything is just simple. Because I know how these things work, so I just improvise it, and it works. I can tell you, and I know these things, I'm from the area. This is easy to set up and easy to use. It's well built. This version in particular, the new one, has one thing that I absolutely fell in love with, and it's a really tiny thing. Remember on the Honda, where I castigated them a lot because of the absolute insane amount of buttons they piled on the left side? Look at Yamaha's solution. It still looks like a lot, but you have your standard buttons, the horn, the indicators and the lights. That needs to be done. Then you have a separate module for the cruise control, which, the way I see this, always with the same symbols, the same buttons, the same size. I guess this is probably a standardization thing, so it's probably mandatory on vehicles. So, okay, fine. These three buttons, they're standard. They're always the same on every vehicle, car or motorcycle, and you don't really use them all that much, and they're out of the way. So when you want to use the cruise control, you need to actually use the cruise control. It's not a button you just click on by accident. Okay, fine. Let's not count those. And then everything on the bike you can control on this little thing, and this is a joystick. It has up, down, left, right, in for enter, and then a little button below for cancel. That's it. You don't need anything else. Honda, this is how you do it. It's not your system. Your system sucks. This is how you do it. I love this, and I want this on every single bike. Remember how I love the Suzuki system of 4 buttons, one up, one down, one left, one right, big buttons, tactile, very easy to use? This is better. This is even better, because when you have 4 buttons, you have to start your interface by looking where you are pressing the first, so you know which one you're pressing. This you don't. You just grab the joystick and you go up with your thumb. Okay, this is up, this is down, this is left, this is right, and this is in. Absolutely brilliant. If you want to improve on this system, like if it clicks, if it allows you to click in when you're slightly off to the side or not, just small tweaks. This is how you should control everything on your bike. It works really, really well. It just works. I love this little part. Another little party piece of this is inside this cubby hole, where you have a little USB port to charge your cell phone. You have this removable tray, which I really like. It has 4 vibration dampeners. It slides in on its own rail, so it's stuck on the bike, and then has these 2 elastic thingies to grab your cell phone so it doesn't wobble around in there, which makes a lot of sense, because cell phones nowadays are so technologically advanced that plunking them in there and letting them shake around is going to damage them. These are no longer your Nokia's 3310s, which could fall on the ground and probably create a crater on the ground instead of breaking the phone. No, our phones are sensitive nowadays, so this is a really clever system. Yamaha, I really, really, really dig that. Again, creature comforts. You have your underseat storage space, which on the Tmax is not gigantic. It's enough. Fits a normal sized full face helmet and some other stuff like your gloves. It will not fit the helmet and your jacket and your pants, but it will fit your helmet and maybe your jacket if the helmet's not too big and the jacket's not too big, and your gloves. So it's not gigantic, but then again, all the motorcycle stuff underneath, all the components, they occupy a lot of space. So classically the Tmax has not had a big boot space because of that, because this takes a lot of space. Usually scooters like to have the dual shock suspension to save some space underneath so the seat can be a bit bigger. But this bike's focus is sportiness, so this suffers a little bit, but it's not a problem. It's just kind of smallish, okay? Not a big issue. The only big issue this bike always has, and that's the only stoppage for it to be sold like hotcakes, is the price. And even so, it is sold like hotcakes. In Paris, for example, the French love this bike for some reason. You only see Tmaxes in Paris. It's awesome. They know their quality, to be honest. And yeah, this is something very special. This is a very, very special bike. Again, it's sporty, it's comfortable, it's nimble, and you can use it to go to work, and you can use it to go into the twisties. You can use it for everything. It is an absolutely fantastic bike with all the creature comforts you might want. Oh, I forgot 2 things. Ride-by-wire, which is now a sensor on the throttle itself, and driving modes, sport and touring, where the only actual difference I felt is that in touring the first few centimeters of the throttle, like this, is less sensitive, so it's easier to ride on the road. But you can use sport every day, it just makes it more direct. Touring's more for more relaxed ride, but there is that. And so that's basically it. The Tmax, in this case 560 for 2022. It is not an expensive bike, it is just a lot of money, because for that whole bunch of money you do get a lot of bang for your buck. So that's it. Catch you out.